Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially the forthcoming presidential election in Nigeria. There's an issue that I want us to look into. It is because of a video by Katsina-based so-called activist, Mahdi Shehu. He made a video. In that video that has trended severally in several platforms, he was talking to a group of Northerners. And in that video, he was telling them, especially Northern Christians, that they should not vote for a Southern candidate, that they should vote for a Northern candidate in the forthcoming presidential election, especially that they should not vote for Peter Obi, who is a Christian from the South and who is presently the leading presidential candidate in Nigeria. He told them that Peter Obi, even though he's a Christian and a Catholic, that he doesn't have the interest of Northerners, Northern Christians. That if you vote for Peter Obi, you are voting for Biafra. That if you vote for Peter Obi, you are voting for people that discriminate against Northerners. And that even in the South, that when there is crisis in the South, they don't differentiate between Northern Christians and Northern Muslims. He even went as far as saying that they don't allow Northern Christians to build church in the South. He was going on and on. It's important that we understand who this Mahdi is and what he is out to do. Mahdi Shehu has made it clear that he is against power shifting to the South. He has made it clear that his preferred candidate is the presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Mahdi Shehu said so many things against voting for Peter Obi by Northern Christians. He was telling the Northern Christians that they are all Northerners, that they are in the same boat. Of course, there was pin drop silence. He asked many rhetorical questions, and nobody answered him. He kept on going on and on and on and on. But the bottom line of the whole story is that Mahdi Shehu don't want Northern Christians to vote for Peter Obi or any Southern candidate. But he was particular about Peter Obi. Of course, he has to be particular about Peter Obi because he knows that Peter Obi is the leading presidential candidate in Nigeria right now. So after saying all this, I say I have to discuss this issue and I have to analyze it effectively. Because what he was selling was total lies from the pit of hell. There is nobody that is denied access to land in Southeast. Many of the mega churches, Dunamis Church was established by a northerner, Paul Enenche. He has several of his branches in the southeast. There's no part of southeast that Paul Enenche doesn't have a branch in southeast. And there have never been any issue of Dunamis Church established by a northerner to have branches in the southeast. So Mahdi Shehu was selling lies in the issue of lands. Even as individuals, some people used to claim that they don't sell land to them in the southeast. It is not true. If you have your money, you can buy land. But you can also understand that land is not cheap in the southeast. After all, everybody knows that southeast doesn't have much land mass. Many people used to make joke about it, even among northerners. I remember a northern friend telling me that the expanse of land in Niger State covers the whole of southeast. So it shows you that land is scarce. So if you want it, you buy. If you can pay the money, you buy. Southeast people are people of business. Nobody is denied access to land. There are several banks owning lands and houses, offices in southeast. Nobody stopped them from buying houses and establishing their branches in the southeast. So southeast is open for business. So it is a lie from the pit of hell when people say that southeast don't sell land to people. And you ask those people, which state in the southeast did you go to and what business do you want to go and do there? And they didn't give you land. It's all just lies that people cook up to justify their own personal or collective agenda. So that was another lie from Mahdi. But one thing that Mahdi failed to tell his audience, who are the people that are killing communities in southern Kaduna, that Sokapo, Southern Kaduna People's Union, have said that there is genocide going on to wipe them out. Can Mahdi Shehu tell us those who are wiping out Southern Kaduna? Are they from southern Nigeria, those wiping out Southern Kaduna? Those who are wiping out farmers and communities in Benue State, are they from southern Nigeria? Those who are wiping out communities in Niger, are they from the southern Nigeria? Those who have decimated the Christian community in southern Borno and many parts of Borno, are they from southern Nigeria? Those who created 2.5 million IDPs, many of them Christians, are they from southern Nigeria? What has northern Christians benefited all these years of voting for northern presidents? What are the tangible and the intangible benefits? Former Secretary to the Federal Government of Nigeria, from Adamawa State, Baba Shilawan, he said, in all the universities in northern Nigeria, you cannot count up to 4 of them where a northern Christian is a vice chancellor. Is that the result of a southerner being president of Nigeria. The same thing applies in all the polytechnics in northern Nigeria. You can't get up to 4 or 5 rectors who are northern Christians. The same thing applies to the colleges of education, in medical schools, in everywhere. That's a northern Christian talking. Baba Shilawa. What explanation can Mahdi Shehu tell him? Is it that the northern Christians are not intelligent enough to be vice chancellors? They are not intelligent enough to be rectors of polytechnics? Or they are not intelligent enough to be provosts of colleges of education? Where was Mahdi's principal, the man he is campaigning for, Atiku Abubakar, when Deborah? Is Deborah not a northerner? When Deborah was killed in Sokoto for blasphemy. The Twitter handle of Atiku Abubakar condemned the killing of Deborah. Is Deborah not a northerner from Niger State? What did Mahdi do about it? What did he say at the time? His principal, the man he's campaigning for, Atiku Abubakar, his Twitter handle condemned the killing. But Atiku ran back and deleted the condemnation and condemned the condemnation. In other words, Atiku sanctioned it because after condemning the condemnation, he didn't issue another statement to condemn what happened. Is Deborah not a northerner? And the northern Christians he was addressing, any of them could have been Deborah. Any of their children could have been Deborah. Deborah died, even the Niger State government where she hailed from did nothing for her. They didn't care about her. They didn't ask questions about her. Where is Deborah's family now today? This Deborah family today are being taken care of by a southerner in Port Harcourt. A man of God took charge of that family and empowered them and resettled them. Where was Mahdi and his northern youth solidarity? There are so many questions left unanswered that Mahdi ought to answer before he can come to the northern Christian begin to tell them about how to make their choices. They are the ones that live their lives. They are the ones that wear the shoes. They know where he pinches them. It is not for Mahdi. Mahdi is from Katsina, the state of the president, Muhammad Buhari. How easy is it in Katsina for the Christian community to build church? How easy is it in Katsina? How easy is it for Christians to propagate their faith in Katsina and in many states of the north? That he wants to use religion to market his candidate instead of addressing the issues facing the country. Katsina State, where Mahdi comes from, over 12 local governments are under bandits occupation. Instead of looking for a president that will help in solving the problem, he's talking about religion. He's talking about ethnicity. And he's cooking up lies against Peter Obi, against the people of southern Nigeria. This is unbecoming of a man who claimed to be a medical doctor. a man who claimed to be an activist. Of course, many of us know that Mahdi Shehu is embarrassingly an activist that have shown himself to be unreliable. And I'll tell you how he is unreliable. Before I tell you that, if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. Sometimes ago, Mahdi Shehu alleged monumental corruption in Katsina state government and was making noises all over the media about the stealing going on in Katsina state. The Katsina state government sued him to court. First, they took him to Sharia court. He refused to go there. They now took him to secular court. When he was charged to secular court, he pretended that he was sick, that he was dying, that his enemies were after him. The day he appeared in court, it took him almost 35 minutes to be able to climb the staircase, to climb the steps to enter the court. He was claiming that he was terribly sick. It was like they used a stretcher to eventually bring him into the court. But while he was in the court, he didn't know that they have gone to plant a camera in his cell. So when he returned back to the cell, that was when the video recorded him, that there was absolutely nothing wrong with him. Immediately he entered inside the cell, he removed everything, he was acting fine, he was leading prayers. And that was when the bubble burst. Since then, he lost credibility. He's only founding his voice recently by making spurious allegations that he could not substantiate. That is the person that was talking to Northern Christians with authority, telling them where to vote and who not to vote for. He lacked the moral right to tell the Northern Christians where to vote. Northern Christians themselves can take their own decision. They are very literate people. They are among the most educated Northerners. Literacy rate among Northern Christians is highest in the North than any other section of the North. So what are we talking about? With their level of education, Northern Christians, they can be able to know what is good for them. And already they have capable leaders like Babashi Lawa, like former Speaker of House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, and several others who are putting heads together to see what they can do to manage a terrible situation where the presidential candidate of APC, Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has rubbed the nose of Northern Christian on the floor. Instead of picking a Northern Christian to create balance in his ticket, he went and picked a Northern Muslim. And that is the reason why religion is going to be a major factor in this election of 2023, whether we like it or not. So Mahdi should be preaching for capacity, ability, strength, and energy to run the office of the president. That is what is needed now, and not the issue of religion and ethnicity, which unfortunately is going to play a role here in this election. So basically, What Mahdi is saying, I'm sure many reasonable Northern Christians are not going to buy into it. They are capable of taking their own decisions. And of all the candidates that are contesting for president right now, Peter Obi is the best. And meanwhile, the Christian Association of Nigeria has already set up a committee that have come out with a position, with a policy on who Christians in general should vote for in 2023 presidential election. And they put up some criteria. They talk about they must vote for a party that has balance, a party that nominated somebody who is not known for corruption, a party that did not nominate anybody who is an extremist, a party that does not nominate anyone who is known to be against anti-open grazing law. So if you are anti-open grazing law, as Atiku Abubakar is, then Atiku is cancelled. So if the Northern Christians, being genuine, being lawful Christians, law-abiding Christians, who follow the rules of their superiors, if they follow it strictly, that has cancelled Atiku Abubakar out. Corruption has cancelled Atiku Abubakar out. And the attitude of Atiku Abubakar when Deborah died shows that Atiku Abubakar does not exhibit religious tolerance, because he failed to condemn the killing of Deborah. Deborah was not taken to court. That's a extrajudicial killing. Yet, Atiku Abubakar did not find it necessary to condemn it. So that disqualifies him. It means there's lack of religious tolerance in his lifestyle. So he is disqualified. So there's no basis for Northern Christians to vote for him, because he will not treat them fairly. If any of them is killed for blasphemy, Atiku will do nothing to save them. Because if he could not condemn, he didn't have the courage to condemn the killing of Deborah, who else will be killed? A Northern Christian. Which Northern Christian will be killed, and Atiku Abubakar will have the courage of his conviction to condemn it? So he has shown that he is not a very tolerant leader. So that disqualifies him. So given some of the qualifications, criteria that Khan gave, Atiku has lost out. There is no basis for any Northern Christian to go and vote for him. Those Northern Christians who are going to vote for Atiku, they are going to waste their vote. Already, I have done a video where I show that there is no pathway for Atiku Abubakar to emerge the president of Nigeria in 2023. And going by the campaign of religion, which Mahdi Shehu is doing on behalf of Atiku, because he is doing this on behalf of Atiku. He is wooing these Christians on behalf of Atiku. And Atiku has not come out to condemn what he's doing. So he has made the case of Atiku worse among Northern Christians. Because Northern Christians, from what Babashi Lawal said, Northern Christians are fighting an existential battle right now. It is now a question of existence of Christianity in Northern Nigeria. If this succeed, if the Muslim ticket succeed, Baba Shilawa said it will be terrible for Nigeria, and of course it will be more terrible for Northern Christians. That's what he said. So there is no reasonable Northern Christian who will not follow the guideline given by Khan. And I pity Northern Christians who do not listen to what their leaders are saying. And they are pursuing money. The money they will give you now is crumbs that will enslave you for the next 8 years. What about your children? You heard what Baba Shilawa said. Northern Christians are finding it difficult to get admission to medical schools in Northern universities. He said that they have to send those of them who are well off, have to send their children to private medical schools because no space for them. So Northern Christians should be able to know that what they should support justice, fairness, and equity, so that they can also be their lot in future. The North has produced President Muhammad Buhari for 8 years. It will be unfair and unjust and against the federal character that a Northerner will also emerge the president of Nigeria again in 2023. And Northern Christians should not allow that to happen. And that is what Baba Shilawal and co, Yakub Dogara and co, that's what they are battling for. To make sure that Northern Christians have a voice in the next administration. If they cannot have a voice in APC, is it in Atiku Abubakar's PDP that they will have a voice? From all indication, where they will have a voice and treated as equals on the table of sharing of and creation of resources in Nigeria, is in the Labour Party, is in Peter-Obi government. They should not make the mistake of listening to somebody like Mahdi Shehu, who has brought in religion to try and woo Northern Christians. But I think that Northern Christians should be smarter than that. They can't fall. They shouldn't fall for that kind of trick. And I like the answer that Baba Shilawal gave the other day on Arise TV. He was asked by the anchor that since they are Northerners, that are they going to, vote for Atiku Abubakar, who is a Northerner? Baba Shilawal made his point clear. He said they're not going to vote because the person is from the North. He said they have been doing that, and what have they gained? But they are going to look for a party and a candidate that is likely to win so that they will work together. And it's becoming clear that Peter Obi is likely to win, going by the polls that are being made, going by the support that he's garnering all over the country. If the Northern Christians give Peter Obi block votes, Peter Obi will be announced the next president of Nigeria in 2023. They will make things easier for him. Forget about Northeast and Northwest. Buhari had been winning Northeast and Northwest since 2003, but he couldn't become president. But with Peter Obi, if he can lock down South, South, and Southeast and compete effectively in Southwest and lock down North Central, he will be declared the president of Nigeria in 2023. And already he's beginning to do well, even in the unexpected quarters in Northeast and Northwest. So it will be against the interests of Northern Christians to allow injustice to be perpetrated in this country by allowing power to remain in the North, despite the fact that a Northerner has been running this country for 8 years, and insecurity has destroyed the economy of Northern Nigeria. And this has affected mostly Northern Christians who are mostly farmers in Benue, in Nasarawa, in Plateau, in Taraba, in Adamawa. Just name them. So that is why I know that given the suffering of Northern Christians, there is no way they are going to listen to Mahdi Shehu, that they are all Northerners. Mahdi Shehu is not being truthful. There are more Northerners. Some Northerners are more Northern than others. But if Northern Christians vote for Labour Party, there will be equality on the table of sharing and cooking and generation of national resources. They will not be treated like outsiders, as Babashi Lawal claimed. They will be treated as equal with the rest of Nigerians. And they know who Peter Obi is. He's a man whose track record shows that he believes in fairness, justice, and equity. And he will do what is right for the generality of the people. Whether you are Muslim or Christian, Northern or Southern, whether Northerner or Southerner, you can bet that the government that Peter Obi will form will be a pan-Nigerian government. And the mandate he's going to get is going to be a pan-Nigerian mandate, which doesn't give room for favoritism. Instead, federal character will be the watchword in the allocation of resources to the benefit of all Nigerians. So, in summary, Mahdi Shehu, on behalf of Atiku Abubakar, wanted to take the vote of Northern Christians by sentiment. But that sentiment fell flat, both on the track record of Atiku Abubakar and the injustices Northern Christians have passed through severally over the years, to the level that many of the communities in Northern Nigeria are crying genocide. Anybody in doubt should go and ask the people of Southern Kaduna what they are passing through. And what they are passing through is no different from what the communities are passing through in Benue, in Nasarawa, in Plateau, in Taraba, in Adamawa, and several other Christian communities in northern Nigeria. That does not diminish the fact that even northern Muslims are also passing through the same challenges, because the bandits are also killing and kidnapping Muslims. But it is much more terrible for northern Christians. Therefore, they need a leader who will provide security. And that leader has to come from southern Nigeria, because after 8 years of northern presidency, it is the turn of the south to produce the president of Nigeria. And northern Christians should not join those who want to create marginalization, who want to create imbalance in leadership flow, who want to violate the federal character. The northern Christians know what it means, that they were denied their rights by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to become vice president. That is why they should be on the path of justice, by ensuring that the next president of Nigeria comes from southern Nigeria after 8 years of northern leadership under President Muhammadu Buhari. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first. God bless you.